Welcome. So I am going to continue with the readings that I started last week. And these will be tarot psychic readings. So, oops, let me just change something here. I'm going to continue with the reading. Okay, so we left off with Virgo. I left off with Virgo. So I'm going to continue with Libra and go around the zodiac until we get to Taurus. Just doing a little bit of a smudge before we begin. Taking a moment to call on my own angels and ancestors, spirit guides, and higher selves of light, benevolence, for their love, guidance, and protection, and direction, insights, awareness, knowledge. Thank you for your presence. Also calling in any angels and ancestors, spirit guides, and higher selves of anyone of light and benevolence, of anyone who is watching as well. And may you feel the presence of passed on loved ones, your personal guides, and those that lift you up, whether here on this side or on the other side of the veil. Okay, so last time I used the Rider-Waite deck, which is my go-to, so I'm going to continue with that. I may or may not use the crystal tarot deck for confirmations. I'm not sure yet. As I go through, I will let you know. I may switch up cards too, depending on how I feel, sign to sign, and I'll try to remember to put all of that in the description box, darling. Okay. Just all of this ash is getting everywhere. Okay. So calling in insight, support, advice, direction. Libra, the sign of Libra. Sun, moon, whatever. Interesting, people will say like, oh, if you have Libra in your chart, but we actually, astrologers know, we have every sign in our chart. It's just not possible not to have a sign. What they really mean is if this sign is prominent for you or it has heavy placements in your chart, which would mean that either there's, just the presence of planets, the position of the sign, maybe it's on an angular house, so 1, 4, 7, and 10, which represents identity and relationships, home and career. But then, of course, we know that there are realms that are outside of that. So for Libra, and of course, there are cross watchers and all that sort of thing. So I'm not going to take these cards, but they popped out, so I'm just going to share them with you. I think for you, Libra, as of last month, there's been some kind of awareness around the things that you know that you don't know, but also the things that you're no longer giving time, energy, faith to. This could be in regards to a contractual relationship, like a marriage, or even a place where you go for support. It doesn't have to be spiritual support, but oftentimes I don't think that we recognize when we're receiving spiritual support, and we may define it as something else. Mental health or physical support or emotional support. But I think the majority of, helping professions actually have a spiritual quality to it, because we are all spirit. And if our spirit is down or drained, we feel it in every aspect of our life, right? Maybe it's not as easy to articulate, but it's very present. I think everything we do is spiritual, quite frankly, because we are spiritual beings living a human experience. We know this. And so I think sometimes, I don't know, I guess maybe it's to share that there's ritual, there's value in ritual in everything that we do. That was a confirmation. So, of course, from downtown Toronto. So if you happen to hear sounds, noises, sirens, maybe you could incorporate that into your reading and take whatever resonates and leave the rest, of course, right? So Libra, interesting. In the first week of June, I have you trying to discern who really has your back and who you want to be sharing with, who maybe you no longer seek counsel or advice from. There could be a question of maybe you no longer need to seek support or advice. Maybe you no longer need to seek the support or advice, or it feels like you're just keeping things to yourself, keeping things within. Maybe because you feel like you can't trust someone, or there just may be someone in your environment that you feel like is getting away with something. It could actually be you as well that could be feeling like I'm not going to let other people know what I'm doing. At least not right now. Or the people, maybe two people that are generally a part of your team. Maybe either the triad is let's say falling apart, but it's being dismantled. And it does feel like you're letting go of situations that no longer serve you. Situations that have been unhealthy, codependent, maybe even a little bit toxic. It could have to do with the Capricorn, doesn't have to, but that could be a sign that shows up. I do feel like there is a healing that's happening here for you, though, Libra, out of the situation. I feel like you are coming to a space of personal strength, even though I don't have the strength card here. I have the Seven of Swords, which would indicate someone feeling like they're getting away with something, or somebody trying to keep things under wraps for their own value and purpose. That maybe not be privy to other people that would normally be involved. But it does feel like there is this level of healing that happens in the first week, Libra. In the second week, we have the Three of Wands upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. I feel like this is a period of like, okay, well, where do I go from here? What's my next step? How do I move forward? How do I want to move forward? Who's on my team with me? Maybe it's no longer the people that were on my team, but I do need, some people to, I want to be able to collaborate with people. This is what I'm feeling, what you're feeling. But I'm not really sure who's on my team right now. And also wanting to do planning, like to enact your action plan. But it's really a little bit of like a waiting period right now. It could be that you're waiting until the third week of June for things to actually start moving forward, or there could be a timeline of 3 months. So that will place us into September. And actually moving into your birth, into your birth month, astrological month. I feel like you're trying to get your resources in order, your balance back, your feeling of feeling secure and content and satisfied, desiring to get that back. And there's a little bit of planning that's involved in it. What's nice is that confirmation, you have the Divine Temple card, which is the Master Teacher card, and speaks to Source and how Source is guiding you. And Source, I think, is also trying to ask you to be patient right now, to see that things are being dismantled so that they can be put back together in a way that best suits you. And there's just a little bit of a holding period. So I think, as we move into the second week of June, I would suggest that you converse more with Spirit and rely more on Spirit or Source, whatever your name is, God, the universe, because they're helping you to work things out, helping you to resolve and assess and reassess. Put that down. So moving forward, Libra, third week of June, we have your card, actually, the Justice card and Ace of Swords upright. This is nice. Feels like there's a lot of truth to be had, to be shared, to be said. It does feel like whatever it is that you've been working towards is coming together. You're having conversations, I think, that are I think this is contractual for sure, because we do have Justice here. There's it could be related to some kind of communication, writing, speaking, delivery of information that's happening. But it's like, you have worked for this, I try to not talk about deservability, because then that really incorporates worthiness, and that's, we're innately worthy. So it does feel like there's something that you've been working towards, though, Libra, that's inspiring you, that's showing you that your just due is coming. And it does feel like it's divine. I mean, I know you've been working towards it, but it does feel like it's divined by the universe, by your angels and the folks on the other side, the beings on the other side that have been supporting this new beginning that is here, that's imminent. And last week of June, Libra, we have the Queen of Wands, and it's reversed, and the Six of Cups upright. It's nice because, and even as a confirmation, we have the petrified wood, which represents the ancestors. I totally feel like, yeah, there's this return to, I oftentimes reference this card, the Six of Cups, as like a return to innocence, a return to feeling good about life and where you've been, what you've come through, the people that you have around you, what it is that you're building, and no longer having to almost like do things blindly, do things by instinct. Now there is this true understanding of what it means to be supported by your angels and ancestors that want to see you succeed and be successful. And this is actually, it feels like this is more of like a grounding energy. You're not having to work through the mystery as much as you have been. Your direction is going to be much clearer going forward. And the connection is much clearer as well. I do want to pick a card. Let's see. Let's go with the Moonology deck from Yasmin, Boland. Taking that one, but I'll definitely take that. Work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. So it's interesting that, so the new moon in Scorpio will be just after your birth month. But what this is saying to me is that it feels like you're working through fears related to your ability to provide for yourself financially. Your ability to see something that is for you and to not talk yourself out of it. No matter who is or who's not on your team. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Libra. So for the next sign, actually, of Scorpio. Scorpio. Imagine. Scorpio. What is here and present for Scorpio? What does Scorpio need to know about June? So for Scorpio. It was I will say, for the second week of June, it was the Devil reverse, but I'll be conscious if that comes back up. Scorpio, tell me what it's all about for June. Spirit, tell me what it's all about for June for Scorpio. So for the first week of June, Scorpio, it's nice. You're coming into this space of, Scorpio, of seeing that the work that you've been putting in, particularly since October of last year, is really coming to fruition now. You could have moved, you could be planning to move, you could be reconnecting with people from your past. But it feels like success, it feels like satisfaction, personal satisfaction, an ability to relax, or at least it's impending in June, that there is this ability to relax, because it does feel like you have been actioning, doing a lot of work since, and I will say, October was probably a pivotal month for you. But it, of course, it doesn't just stop there. You know, the fix, the months, astrological months of the fixed signs. So Scorpio, your own sign, Aquarius, February. Taurus, which is your opposite sign that just passed in May, and of course, Leo season. So it does feel like now that the wheel is starting to turn. By August, though, there will be this, it feels like this full, complete cycle of everything that you've been through and been working on, you know, and it really feels like it has to do with home, family, togetherness, companionship, the ability to love and be loved, you know, and nourished. So I will say June is significant, but I also think, and without even looking forward to August, I do think that August is going to be significant as well to the next chapter of the story. Just going to pull a clarifier and some information for the first week of June for Scorpio. You have the healer card, so it does feel like there has been some healing that's been happening. Maybe you have recognized your own healing ability, but I wonder too if that maybe you're working with a healer, or if not, perhaps that's something that you might want to do to be able to get yourself to the space of relaxation and to almost like what's coming up is like alleviate the heaviness and the challenges that have come up for you in the past. What would that be? Would that be 10 months? Since October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 9 months, sorry. So, second week, Scorpio, second week of June, it's possible that you could be turning down an offer. I do feel, so you have the Page of Wands upright, but the King of Cups, or sorry, the Knight of Cups is reversed. So you could be turning down something that you feel like maybe is not worth your while. It feels like there's potential of something, but you don't know how much energy and time you want to put into it. And so it feels like you end up turning something down. I will say I do feel like it's interesting because then I got the clarifier, black tourmaline for protection, which makes me feel like you are aware that you could be invited into something that hasn't actually been fleshed out yet. And so you're conscious that you could be committing yourself to something that there's a lot more work than is being described or indicated. Yeah. I feel like you are already satisfied with the work that you have done so far. And so I think maybe this time could be really about more about planning and being confident and clear in where you want to put your effort and your energy. One thing I will say is that I do think that June, particularly the second week of June, is a celebratory time for you. And on that celebratory tip or trajectory, sometimes we commit ourselves to things that, because we're feeling, excited and motivated and validated, that we can say yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. And then in retrospect, you're like, I shouldn't have said I was going to do that. So that's something I will say. It could be a level of protection that you could be employing. So I would say be careful, be mindful of overcommitting yourself. I will say I do think I do think this next little time is, timeline, next 6 weeks at least, is a time for you to really kind of enjoy the time and space that you have. I don't know if you're taking vacation, if you're able to take vacation, or just take time away to relax, even if you're not working. It feels like it's a time where spirit is saying, like, okay, it's not necessarily time for you to rest, but you've been doing all of this work and look what's coming. Revel in what the success that you have right now, or the success that you have built for yourself. Take a moment to enjoy that. We don't have to rush off into the next thing just because someone sees you or validates you. You could say, yes, I would love that opportunity, but I wouldn't be able to start for another 8 weeks. It feels like September is the time where things start to really move forward. But until then, feels like a lot of clearing the deck, clearing the decks, clearing like closets, and turning down things that no longer align for you. So for third week, Scorpio, you have the Hierophant and the Page of Swords. There could be conversations around contracts, could be conversations around the traditions that are important to you. When we think about someone that could be coming from back from the past, or incorporating activities or things that you used to do in the past. I do feel like, when we think about contractual agreements or arrangements, there's this conversation of tradition and doing things because this is what your parents did, or your family did, or your ancestral experience is similar to. And so it feels like we're really kind of thinking about, not even really fleshed out yet, but playing around with the ideas of, what tradition means to you, what traditions you want to maintain. I actually feel like it may have to do with your eating style patterns. Even, for example, because I have diopside Mother Earth here as a clarifier. What's coming up is returning to your ancestry, returning to your traditions, your family traditions, the ones that relate or inspire you, motivate you, make you feel reflective and inspired. So one thing that's coming up as I say that is, for example, taking care of yourself in a way that's similar to your ancestral practices. So this could be, of course, because we have Mother Earth, this could be farming. This could be growing your own food, working with plants or herbs, or anything that is related to your ancestry. So maybe for Indigenous communities, this would be working with particular foods like beans and corn and herbs like white sage, or my background is Jamaican, so this for me would probably be planting foods that speak to my ancestral experience. So first thing that comes to mind, and it's easy to grow, is callaloo. It's like a leafy green. If I can't grow it, then purchasing foods from these community stores that, one, honor the full life cycle experience of plant life, or if you eat meat, then the kind of like the nose to tail kind of experience, like you employ all parts or use all parts of the animal. Feels like there's this return to the way things used to be done in a way that's inviting you to reclaim your traditions, your ancestry. And the last week of June, Scorpio, we have the Hermit reversed and the Four of Swords reversed. It does feel like you are coming out of a place of rest. Could be the last 4 weeks or 9 months. That could be significant. But particularly the last 4 weeks, you could have been pulled within, really reflecting on what you've been through, what it is that you've been actioning, what it is that you've been working on, particularly in the last 4 weeks. But it does feel like the last 9 months have been significant, where you've really been doing internal work and receiving blessings. And so now, going forward at the end of June, you will be reemerging. If you've withdrawn from particular spaces, relationships, friendships, community groups, even like your workplace, you are going to be re-entering these spaces with an awareness of things that are conflicting for you. So, sometimes this happens when you remove yourself from a space, take a vacation, a week or two, maybe you're on a leave of absence, and then you return to that space and you realize all of the things that you have been, all of the things that you've been making okay or dealing with when you're like, this doesn't align or resonate for me anymore. And yet, you're still tethered to it. So I do think that at the end of June, there are going to be some conversations around how things move forward, how you want things to move forward, how things no longer resonate for you, and what it is that you're going to be, doing to manage that. But there are going to be some conversations around what that means, and if I would think that you already know what this is speaking about or speaking to. And one thing I will say for all signs, is that in the next couple of days, so in 2 days, actually, June 10th, we have the new moon eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. And everyone will be coming to the space of needing to have conversations, wanting to have conversations and be clear about what it is that they think, they feel, how it is that they think and feel, how it is that they communicate based on their beliefs, and communicating their beliefs, whether or not it's true, but sharing from a space of awareness, but also like this matter of fact, maybe a little bit blunt, but really it's really more matter of fact. Like, this is what I see, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I believe. And everybody's truth is true to a point, right? Because that's what they're feeling. So by the end of the month, things will start to settle, and then we will be likely having more conversations around how things have unfolded throughout June. And so Scorpio, you have the full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in the way. So if there are things that you need to speak to, have conversations about, of course, don't let pride get in the way, but have the conversations. Don't shy away from having conversations that need to be had. I mean, it's easy to say, right? But when you're ready to have those conversations, step forward, address them, and you'll know when the moment comes, when it's time for you to speak up or say your piece or what have you. Okay, so I will say this card just popped out, so I'll give it to you, Scorpio. This is purification. So if you haven't been thinking of a detox, maybe that's something that would be helpful for you. So now moving past Scorpio into Sagittarius. Sagittarius, well, we just had the full moon lunar eclipse in your sign at the end of February. Was February important to you? At the end of May. So just last month, a few days ago, 10 days ago, approximately. And so you've been in this space of purging. You will still be in this space of purging while the eclipses are here, because South Node, the South Node, which is a nodal point, moon point, is going through your sign. So you have been eliminating, releasing, letting go of ways of being that no longer serve you, beliefs that no longer serve you, styles of communication that no longer serve you or aren't clear. So Sagittarius, what's coming up for Sagittarius for June? Nice. The first week, Sag, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So I wonder if, the last week of May, and, even as we think about eclipse energy, it can last longer. It has, because it's based on the lunar cycle. So it has a 2-week period, a 2-week period, a month period. So 2 weeks on either side of the eclipse, a month on either side of the eclipse, as well as 6 months and a year into the future. And even, of course, we can backtrack and see the timeline of how things have unfolded for us over the last 6 months to a year, and how it all lines up with the story. So in saying that, Sag, I feel like it's possible in the last week of May, you let go of something, you released something, you left a job, you left a relationship, a friendship, an industry, a career that is no longer serving you, or at least isn't aligned anymore with the work that you want to do, with the person that you are. Yeah, definitely. I see. So it's a confirmation for the first week of June, is that you are really in this strong space of, I know who I am, and I know what I want. I know that I'm valuable. I know that I can have the life that I dream of, that I desire, the family, the home. And if I have to leave people or situations behind, then so be it, Clarifiers for Sagittarius. Clarifiers for Sagittarius, please. Clarifiers for Sagittarius. Oh, nice. I love how things come together, I love spirit. I love you. And I love how the alignment comes through. So definitely feel like you've manifested something. You could have been moving into a new, I was going to say company. So it could be moving into a new company, but I was actually thinking of moving into a new home, moving into a new space, definitely having manifested something, manifested your dreams. Gold even. I mean, even when we think about, these two cards and the Pentacles, right? It does feel very inspirational and satisfying. So the second week of June, which is this week, we have the Page of Wands and the devil reversed. Page of Wands is upright. And even though we're watching in the second week, it's, whenever. The readings are really timeless, but just to give you a time frame. So the second week, Sagittarius, with the Page of Wands, this is your energy. But a little bit like, sometimes we start a new job and we're like, okay, I was hired for the job because I know what I'm doing. But there are things I still need to understand the lay of the land. Like, you move, you don't really know your neighborhood. It feels a little bit like new. You feel a little bit new. What am I really doing here? What do they want me to do? What do I want to do? The devil reversed, I think it's good because you have, I think it's good because you have this understanding of what it is that you've left behind, and having reverence and respect and honor kind of like for yourself, but also all of the beings that made this transition possible for you. And also being grateful of being out of any toxic situation. What's nice is that you have the compassion card, Emerald. It was reversed though, so it's good because when it's upright, it does say that compassion is needed, more compassion is needed. Someone is not being compassionate in this environment or space. But because it's reversed, or it was reversed, it makes me feel like you've come into this space of one, being able to be compassionate for yourself, as well as anybody else that's in your space that maybe it was hard to have compassion for before. Particularly could have been because of the space that you were in before that just didn't allow you the capacity to hold compassion. And now that you have more energetic space, belief in yourself, inspiration, self-inspiration, the need to be compassionate or ultra compassionate is understood and implemented, and you're understanding more of what you need. Sometimes, for example, I think, Sag, we can get into experiences where we can kind of convince ourselves that either we're not worthy of something, or like, this is good enough. It's good enough for me. It's okay. I'm good, but in the back of your mind, are you really good? Are you really satisfied? And so the second week of June, it does feel like you're really understanding what it is, and having the space to understand what it is, what compassion is, what it means for you, what you need from other people, from yourself, to stay inspired, to be inspired. The third week of June, Sag, does feel like it's possible because you have the Ace of Swords reversed and the Five of Wands. It's possible that you could be involved in petty, this card I often call like petty Betty bullshit, someone's trying to, or it could be more than a couple of people, like multiple people are trying to give you their perspectives, insights, opinions, direction. And you're like, I really don't want to hear that. I don't really care. Not even to say I don't care, but I can't make that a factor. I can't implement your opinions or impressions of what I should be doing. And so maybe you're not sharing as much in the third week of June. And as a confirmation, you have Ruby, which speaks to your ability to shine. And these combinations of cards makes me feel like there could be someone in your environment that is jealous, or they're trying to manipulate or control in a way that is impeding your shine, is hiding your shine. They don't want you to shine as much as you are, or you have been, or you're able to. And so they could be kind of like possibly redirecting you or directing you away from something that is your truth. And you're like, either you're not sharing your truth right now, or you're like, I'm just going to keep this shit to myself because, yeah, I'm going to shine, you know? That's the feeling that I get. I'm just going to say what I have to say. This is who I am. And don't feel like because you offer your opinion, I'm not going to do what I need to do, you know? I'm going to do what I need to do. And you can stay over here with your petty bullshit. So, last week, Sag of June, it's nice, because you have the Hierophant, so representing the Pope, but any spiritual guidance, spiritual direction, teacher, and this is of course within you too, right? But also too represents tradition and any contractual, traditionally contractual agreement, even if it's not actually paper, but it's like a spiritual connection, you know? And how we honor those spiritual connections and traditions and how we employ that, you know. Confirmation is the 9 of Pentacles, which is nice because it feels like by the end of June, you're in this space of like, I've created this space of spiritual contentment, you know. This is definitely like, yes, like I'm feeling very strong, you know. I'm feeling like I can relax a little bit, like I can enjoy, I should be enjoying myself. I'm going to enjoy myself. Look at what I've built, you know, look at the faith that I've had. It does feel very, the word that comes up is like chuffed, you know. I feel good in myself. I feel good at what I've accomplished. And even if you're by yourself, because it's very possible that you could, you know, not be in a relationship, or you could have gained independence from an entity that is outside of your relationship, if you are in a relationship. So, you know, your workplace, you could be receiving a new contract, if you're self-employed, but it's like there's this feeling of like, let me dust off my shoulder because I'm feeling good about what I've been doing, you know. And then clarifier, we have Morganite, which is relationship healing. Of course, if it's upright, then that would indicate that you need relationship healing, or relationship healing is on deck, but it's reversed. So it does feel like you have been healing a relationship, definitely your relationship with yourself. That's first and foremost, right? But I think you've been healing a relationship, even your parents' relationship, healing yourself in regards to your parents' relationship. And this is why I feel like there is this energy of satisfaction. Self-inspiration. Like looking at yourself and kind of saying like, yeah, you know, you're good, you've done it, you know, or you've done this part, you know. What's nice is that you have the 9 and 10 of Pentacles. So it does feel like at the end of the month, there's this return conversation to what you've done for yourself at the beginning of the month, what it is that you've created. I do think, you know, June is bookended for you with these really powerful, strong energies. Like the first week you have the 10 of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, which is your energy. And then we end with the Hierophant and the 9 of Pentacles. So very, very strong, you know, very conscious and aware of your value, your wealth. And when I say wealth, it's not just financial wealth, it's everything that you've built up until now, your family, your home, the relationships that you have around you. Yeah. So I'm going to pull from the Moonology deck for Sag. And of course, I would love if you could just like, share, subscribe, whatever you feel guided to do. And or leave a comment on how, what videos, other videos you'd like to see besides readings, tarot readings. I'll probably be doing some Reiki and other things as well, but a SMR perhaps. Anyway, confirmation. So the first card actually that popped out was the full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches. That's exciting. And which, for the full moon in Aries, that would be Libra season. So I do think that the end of September into October is going to be significant for how things continue to unfold and develop, but I think it starts now. And the new moon eclipse, which is nice because we have that in 2 days, and it's in your opposite sign. So, Sag, there could be a level of completion that happens in your relationships because Gemini would, completion and beginning. So Gemini, of course, is your partnership sign, your opposite sign. But when we think of partnerships, we oftentimes think of like romance, right? But it doesn't have to be. It is everything that is contractual. So our employers, best friends, significant others. So incorporating best friend energies or client energy, anybody that you work for or work with, and that mirroring happens because they see something in you that you can provide or vice versa. So again, clients, bosses, employers, partners, but also competitors and frenemies would also fall here too. So when we think, and that in 2 days, we'll have the new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. I think it's going to be it's going to be a new beginning that has a trajectory of at least, what would that be? So we're in June, July, August, September, 4 to 5 months. Or at least a period of 4 to 5 months that is very active and energizing and motivating. Like, you know, anytime we start a new relationship, it's like puppy love and excitement, and you want to spend all your time with that person. But it could, of course, also be a new job and wanting to, you know, like I was saying about the second week of June, you know, wanting to prove yourself, or just show like your skill. Be like, look, I got this new role. I want to show them what I can do. So I would suggest and encourage you to do that. So I just feel like it's a new beginning. And because, like I was mentioning, the South Node is in your sign, you are getting challenged repeatedly to step out of places and spaces, relationships, environments that no longer serve you. And this will continue until the next eclipse, the last eclipse in your sign in November, December time. So thank you, Sag. So for Capricorn. Ooh, Capricorn. Capricorn has been going through a lot because Pluto is in your sign. And so since 2008, you have been personally, I mean, everybody's been feeling it in an aspect of their chart, but Capricorn, for you, it's felt very personal, you know, a lot of changes that have been happening that felt probably overwhelming. I've noticed as an astrologer that the even years, because Pluto started in Capricorn on an even year, then even years have been very transformational. So 2008, 2010, 2012, of course, when we thought that the world was going to end again. 2016, when the United States administration changed. along with it, so many things. Excuse me, 2018. But we all know what happened in 2020. So, and each even year, I feel like has provided an opportunity, particularly for Capricorn, to pivot and to expand and break out of old ways of being, old ways, old traditions that no longer serve. And Capricorn is the sign of tradition and doing things in the ways that they have always been done, because it provides comfort and security. Whereas Capricorn, you have really been going through the gamut of really eliminating things, and again and again and again. So I have deep compassion for that. Okay, so for Capricorn, what's coming up for June? Capricorn. Spirit, what's coming up for Capricorn this June 2021? Nice. Oops. Oh, this will take that too. So Capricorn, for the first week of June, you have Temperance and the Nine of Cups, which is nice because there's this, feels like you have been successful in what it is that you've been working towards. Not even just working towards, it feels like it's more of like a hope, a vision, you know, of the future, of what it is that you need to heal, of being able to amalgamate all of your life experiences, your traumas, your pains, your sadness. My mama's calling me. I'll call her back. Her sad, you know, your any kind of emotional healing that needed to be alchemized. And it does feel like the first week of June brings some sort of awareness to you that has to do with like what it is that you have, what it is that you've been wishing for. And it could have to do with either Sagittarius, because Temperance is the card of Temperance is represented by the sign of Sagittarius. So clarify from the crystal deck, you have clarity. And it was reversed, but in connection with these cards, I feel like you have gained clarity. Perhaps because you've been waiting on information. You know, sometimes I feel like the Temperance card is like a waiting game, you know. I'm just doing the work that I have to do behind the scenes, and I'm grateful to do it. And I feel, you know, when we're in need of healing, which is connected to the Temperance card, it's really also connected to spirit because we have the wings here. But really this ability to see the bigger picture and to be patient with what it is that you're dreaming of, what it is that you're manifesting and hoping for and waiting. You know, like both of these cards give me this sense of waiting. Like I've been waiting on this money, I've been waiting on this information, I've been waiting on this clarity to come through, and here it is. You know, there's this level of communication that comes through in the first week of June that has you definitely feeling appreciative, you know, grateful. It's something you've been waiting on for sure. It does definitely have to do with the healing work that you've been doing on yourself, perhaps around a Sagittarius, or something that could be connected to other cultures, other people's beliefs or lived experiences. So, second week of June, Capricorn, you have the Eight of Swords, sorry. the Eight of Swords upright and the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles would be you. And the Eight of Swords. So I do feel like there is this mental restriction, mental limitation, feeling trapped, but also knowing like you're not trapped. It's really like this question of how can I build more? I can't do it here, and I need to move out of this space, but I really need to think about this. And this is when I say I am speaking in your voice. I really need to think about who I am, what it is that I want, my value. Like, I know my value is there, but I don't feel it immediately. Like, I don't feel it viscerally in this space that I'm in. And I really want to remove myself from this space. But like, if I remove myself from this space, do I have the ability to do it on my own, to expand beyond what it is that I currently have? I will say, I think, Capricorn, there are messages that are coming in through music. So if you're listening to songs, lyrics, if you're not, I would say to use music as a way to provide insight and inspiration. Oftentimes, something that I love to do when I'm, I don't really drive as much now because of COVID, but when I get into my car, and I oftentimes won't turn on the radio right away, or I get into the car and the radio's on and the song, pops up, then I really listen to the lyrics of what the lyrics are saying, what they mean, how it resonates for me. But oftentimes I like to wait until I feel inspired to turn on the radio and hear what that first song is, or whatever that first message is, if it's someone talking and listening to whatever it is that they're communicating. So I will share that as a tip. But I do feel like you're not actually trapped. I want to encourage you to understand that you're not, and there are possibilities and opportunities that are really waiting for you to get clear on your value, on what it is that you want to offer. There's this real question of like, who am I? What do I want to offer? What do I have to offer? What's around me? Who's around me? What do I do with what I have? But you have more than what it is that you think that you have. I feel like you have to kind of go back to basics. I don't know what that means for you, but if you learned something a long time ago, or, there could be a level of returning, coming back to basics, that has to do with your sense of self, ultimately. What I will say is that you seem to get clarity in the second week, because, you get clarity in the first week, and then there's a little bit of like, okay, well, now that this has come in, what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? Do I leave people behind? Like that sort of stuff. The third week is indicating that your wish is coming through. I think maybe whatever it is that you were hoping for in the first week of June actually starts to show up in the third week of June, and it actually feels like it's relationship related. So we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is a beautiful card of environmental success, material success, financial success, but also like the full meaning of what success means. It's not just money, it's the people that we have around us, our loved ones, our elders, our pets, and the space that we've created our home, you know. And we have the King of Cups, which is nice because this is a very mature energy. This person is strong in their emotional capacity, in their emotional intelligence, in their ability to manage themselves and maybe even other people that are around them that could be emotionally dysregulating. And it feels like they actually support your home life, your family, the work that you do, and maybe they want to be a part of that, you know? And what's nice is that we have the Sunstone card, which is all about empowerment. I feel like this relationship or whatever is coming in, proposing something to you, could be an actual proposal. It could just be an emotionally fulfilling offer. But it does feel like this person comes in to support and empower the work that you've been doing, your resources, your environmental life, you know, feels very strong. And then the last card, the last week of June, we have the Four of Swords, which could see you desiring a rest, needing a rest, wanting to take a time away or vacation if you're working. A need for retreat, withdrawal, relaxation, blessings even. And then beneath that, we have another king. So I will say, I wonder, because we have a queen and two kings. So I wonder if it's possible that you have another connection that comes up. Romantic connection for sure, could be, doesn't have to be. But I do think that it's romantic related because we have the Lovers, the soul connection crystal, and it's a master teacher card, and it represents the Lovers. So the Lovers in tarot is significant of Gemini, I will say that. But I think as an overall, you are deciding by the time we get to the end of June, who you want in your life. You know, when we think about the Lovers card, this is an option, this is a choice. This is something being presented to you, a mirror image. So if it's not a person, it could be a job that's ideal, that's emotionally fulfilling, that's that reflects your value, who you really are, who you want to be, who you really are, you know. And this and other entity sees it in you. So Capricorn, I'm going to pull a card from the Moonology deck for you. This. Oops. I guess I'll put two. Ooh, confirmation. What's this? New moon in Libra, and a new romantic cycle begins. What did I tell you? Spirit's funny. You're funny, Spirit. I'm funny too because I'm pulling these cards. So anyway, and the first quarter moon, your commitment is being tested. I don't know when the first quarter moon is. Oh, it would be next week because we have the eclipse this week. First quarter, yeah. So the first quarter moon in June is actually the third week of June. So it's possible that the new person, it's interesting because I did say the third week of June, this night, this King of Cups shows up. I do think long range that things really start to move forward by the end of September into October, Libra season. But this opportunity shows up for you, I think, in the third week of June. Ooh, Scorpio, that's exciting. Okay. Aquarius, we are. Hey. Because I don't know if you know, because here it says Sheena Dennise, that's my name. But my tag, my that has been me for many years is Aquarian Soul. And when I came onto Instagram, someone had taken Aquarian Soul, so I changed it to Aquarian Soul Life. So Aquarian Soul Life is me on Instagram. I'll encourage you to follow, of course. Ooh. So Spirit, give me some insight information for Aquarius. Some insight and information for Aquarius, please. Oops. What insights for Aquarius? Oh, insight for Aquarius for June 2021. Yes. I'm going to shuffle these cards again. Is that wrong? Okay, maybe it's not wrong. So, I pulled an extra clarifier from tarot because I'm in a situation I want to see what that's about. Anyway, so the first week, Aquarius, we have the Knight of Cups, but it's reversed, and the Two of Pentacles. And then as a clarifier, we have the Death card underneath that. So one thing I will say is that we see there's transformation happening here for sure, like a full life, complete transformation. And it's not actually, it's not done. You're in the process of this, right? I will say I think the last 13 months have been significant. So that would be last May, I guess. So it would even be April. And it could be going forward. So depending on what this 12-month or 13-month cycle means for you, does feel like in the last year you've been going through transformation. So going back to the Knight of Cups, I feel like there is either an offer that's coming in or an offer that's delayed, or you're rejecting an offer in the first week of June. That, or could it be just that you were waiting a long time for the offer? And so it's almost like the energy is drained out of it, but something definitely does come in the first week of June to make you contemplate, because I see the contemplation happening here with perhaps like money or resources, the material aspect of life and what it is that you have to be able to move forward almost. Yeah, definitely to move forward. But there is this question of like, who am I moving forward with? Who do I want on my team? Who is on my team? Second, clarify with the crystals. With the crystal cards, Aquarius for Aquarius. First card is creativity. So there could be something that could be actually an offer, a creative offer that comes in. And maybe you're thinking about, do I take this offer? What do I do with it exactly? Is it something that I want? I don't even think it's something that you don't want. I just think it's like needing to decide the resources that you currently have, what it is that you want, how this offer aligns with your creativity. If it doesn't align with your creativity, I think you're being asked to trust while you release that, because there's more coming in. As I talk about, there's more. So we have the patience card for the second week of June. When I look at the second week of June, it's interesting. It's interesting, girl. So we have the 3 of Cups reversed, the 2 of Cups reversed. These 2 cards here, to me, would indicate perhaps someone from the past, but it feels like it was a relationship situation that didn't work out, perhaps related to a third party situation. Emotional dissatisfaction, disappointment, could be connected to a 3-year cycle, a 2-year cycle, a 3-year cycle, or a 5-year cycle. And then what's interesting, this is definitely about relationships and love in the second week of June, because so we have the 2 of Cups reversed, the 3 of Cups reversed, and the Lovers. The Lovers represents the sign of Gemini, as well as any choice related to a divine partnership. Choices that you perhaps have made in the past, that you want to make going forward, that you're going to have to make going forward. It's very possible that if this was from the past 2, 3, or 5 years ago, and perhaps actually something that you've had to be patient around, the person from the past could be returning to have a conversation about how they acted in the past, how they may be involved a third party. It doesn't have to be cheating necessarily. It could be just someone that's like more involved in your relationship than the actual people need to be. Like a mother, for example, or just other people's opinions, where it feels like they were letting other people's opinions or just other opportunities, other choices, infiltrate the relationship. And it feels like you were the one that had the patience. Most likely, I mean, situations can always be reversed, but because this is for you, Aquarius, it's likely that you were the one that had to have patience, or has been patient, or been put in the position to be patient. The third week of June, we have the Page of Pentacles. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I said that. Page, maybe, so Page of Cups, but maybe, Page of Pentacles is also showing up in my mind, because this has to do with your emotional value, but your emotional value is could be based on your financial value, your resources, maybe feeling like, well, I don't know if I have the resources. I don't know if I have the ability to really entertain offers that are coming in for me right now, because my resources aren't really where I want them to be. Then we have the 8 of Cups, and it's reversed. So this is you deciding to move on from something. You've decided, but you haven't actually moved yet. This is a card of moving on from something that generally I would feel like the emotion is drained out of it, but it could also indicate that you're just moving on in the situation. You're moving on to something that's more emotionally fulfilling. You could just be moving. And I think that the move actually happens in 4 weeks, which is why this is reversed. So you're being asked to be patient, like in the second week, we saw in the second week, you're being asked to be patient, Aquarius. to be able to move. Maybe you don't even know like where you're moving yet, you know, but it does feel like the next 4 weeks are particularly important. And of course, the next 4 months will be important as well. But particularly the next 4 weeks, and it's regarding this ability to move. And so, yeah. Let's pull Crystal Clarifier. For Aquarius. Trust, yes, trust. So your ability to trust in this new beginning and your ability to move on will definitely influence your ability to move on. What's nice is that these last 2 cards are green, both speaking to like heart healing that's happening. Trust and patience, virtues which can be challenging to hold. But it does feel like, you know, even as I feel like this trust and patience feels like Spirit's kind of saying like, we got you, we're helping you to heal emotionally, but also to be patient with yourself, you know, and the work that you've been doing up until this point. Outcome, we have the 10 of Cups, and it's reversed. And the High Priestess, and it's reversed. So, oops. I'm not so concerned about the 10 of Cups reversed. I feel like it's just the timeline that happens. I think that it's interesting. I was saying 4 months, because 4 months would be October, right? June, July, August, September. Oops. Well, June, July, July to August, August to September, September to October. October could be actually when you move. Could be. Doesn't have to be that timeline, but there could be a celebration, a family celebration, a family gathering, get together that happens in October that really makes you feel like you've arrived, in a sense, in your own life. You know, you've arrived in your life and arrived to a sense of satisfaction. I would encourage you to listen to what Spirit has to say, to actively go within and listen to what Spirit has to say. As an Aquarius, I know that's one of the hardest things for me to do, even though I am definitely attuned and connected, but I have a lot of Mercury energy in my chart, and higher octave energy of Mercury, Uranus. So it can be hard to sit, to receive. But I feel like there's a lot of information that's coming through that you want to be privy to. So take the time to, whether it's automatic writing, going to church if you go to church, but whatever your spiritual practice is, dedicating more time to that so that you can hear what directions, you know, where you're supposed to be going, what it is that you want to be doing. And then nice confirmation, you have the Ace of Cups. So the outcome is pleasant for you, you know, is satisfactory, and like you are beginning something new. I think at the end of June, we have some kind of healing that takes place that helps you to be able to look forward, you know, and helps you to regain your direction and your inspiration and your feeling of personal satisfaction. What's nice, as I was saying, with these green energies, the last week of June, you have another green energy, deeper green, but still. And Malachite, it has to do with healing, deep healing, deep emotional healing. Yeah, that's nice. And your ability ultimately to move forward after healing, you know? Yeah. So that's it for Aquarius. I will pull a Moonology card for you as well. So Moonology card for Aquarius. A card for Aquarius to wrap up that reading. Aquarius. So we have the new moon in Aries. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. I think I got this before. The new moon in Aries was in April. I don't remember the date. April could have been significant in regards to how things are moving forward for you. Being able to step back into life in a really intentional, directional way, cardinal way. New moon in Aries is the best time to start anything new, you know, in the whole astrological year. So that would indicate to me that this is a powerful time for you, Aquarius, to step into the things that you know you want to do, you know. And then the other card that popped out at the same time was the new moon in Pisces. So a lot of new energy, a lot of action energy, initiating energy. And we have the meditate and contemplate card for the new moon in Pisces. So this is definitely the High Priestess card. That's what I was getting, that feeling of take time to listen. But it's almost like I get this like listening, drawing, drafting, writing, and then actioning. Listening, drawing, drafting, writing, and then actioning. It's an interactive experience. It's not just downloading, okay, now I know what I got to do, I'm off. No, it's a continual check-in. You know, that is definitely, that's what's going to help as you move forward. So, and your ability to discern. I think discernment is a key word for Aquarius right now. Particularly as new beginnings come in and new opportunities. So we're going to move on to Pisces. We'll have Pisces, then Aries, and then Taurus, and then we're done. And I'll aim to put the timestamps on, so you don't have to be watching everybody else's sign. So just gonna feel like we need a little bit of an energetic break by smudging. I should have a little music going on in the background. Okay, so for Pisces. Calling my own angels and ancestors, spirit guides, and higher selves, love, knowledge, protection, and guidance. Thank you for being here. Ooh. Pisces. Pisces, the first week of June has you trying to get focused, clarity, direction. Not even trying. It's actually, I feel like you've come to the space of being able to clarify what it is that you want, what it is that you need going forward. Feels like you have a lot of opportunities coming as well. And it's like a little bit, where am I focusing? Where do I want to focus? Whoa. Sorry, I need to grab all those. Hello, Pisces, for the first, gosh, what's going on? First week of June, Pisces. Yeah, we have the Seven of Cups reversed, which means that you are getting clarity, gaining clarity, and and as a clarifier, you have the Queen of Pentacles upright. So you are really reassessing, looking at your value, what it is that you offer to other people, what it is that you have and hold, the space that you hold, the finances and resources that you have available to you, what it is that you want to do next. You know, what do I want to do next? Like, you know what it is that you want to do next. I don't know if you've spoken or shared it, what you want to do. But there is this clear understanding, or coming to understand, yes, your value, but also what it is that you want to be offering to the world, you know. I'm going to pull the crystal card before I move on. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Spirit's just like popping out all these cards for you. Yeah, rites of passage. So anytime I get the Cupright card and the rites of passage card, I get a sense of sadness, to be honest. A sense of, and it's not even like disappointment necessarily, it's more sadness over the rite of passage and what that means. Like, it's bittersweet, you know. Some, like, you know, rites of passage are having children, someone passing away, starting, like, graduating. It feels very pivotal, like a pivotal point, you know, in your life and the people, in the lives of people around you, Pisces. Mm-hmm. Anytime I get the rites of passage or the Cupright card, there's this feeling of like, it's not so much disappointment. It's this full bittersweet moment. It's a full passage of time and recognizing the chapter, you know, the era of life and how it's kind of coming full circle, and everything that has brought you to that space, everything that you've gone through. So the second week of June, Pisces, we have the moon, and which is actually your card, and the Two of Wands. So I feel like you are really reflecting, maybe having a lot of dreams, insights, ideas, inspirations, maybe that don't really have a place yet, but you are holding them and thinking about what it is that you want to be doing going forward with this Two of Wands reversed. So you're not actually sure. You're reflecting, wanting to move forward, but knowing that you can't really move forward if you don't really know where you're going. So there is this need for expanded awareness. Azurite card is, you don't have to be meditating, but ideally taking some time to be still, to embody the information that's coming through, to receive the information that's coming through. Also, too, when I get the expanded awareness card, it's like there's this meta view of your full life experience, who you are, and what it is that you want to be doing moving forward. But there's a lot of internal discussion that's happening. You know, a spiritual intuition and insight, even connection to the past lives, your ancestors, and perhaps like family members being able to travel depending on where you are in the world, right? But I feel like in the next 2 weeks or 2 months, you could be seeing a need to travel, or you'll have clarity around what your next steps are, how you're moving. If you're not traveling, you could be moving, for example, as well, and not really having, not knowing where you're going to be moving to. But if you're not actually moving residences, you could be traveling or wanting to travel and trying to figure out how to do that. So in the third week, Pisces, we have the Page of Wands upright, and we also have the Eight of Cups upright, which indicates that you are really looking forward to where it is that you want to go. Feeling like maybe it's interesting. I was talking about this moving, but wanting to move on from something that's disappointing, no longer inspirational, no longer supportive, emotionally supportive. Maybe it hasn't been supportive for a long time. Yeah, it's like it's interesting that both of these cards, even if I put them side by side, because it's the first card that came out, it's like the Page of Wands is feeling maybe a little bit like new in the sense of direction, being able to move forward, feeling inspired, feeling like the inspiration can provide direction. But it's interesting that the Page of Swords or the Page of Wands is moving forward, or looking one at the moon, which it's interesting that you also have the moon here, looking at the moon, and as I pull the spread, it's like moving away from mystery and illusion, deception, and even self-deception or self-illusion, and moving towards away, because this person is past the moon, and so the moon is almost like behind them, the mystery's behind them, and they're moving on into something that maybe, some that they don't know necessarily where they're going, but they know that this is not it, and so we can see that the Page of Wands is like, I'm inspired to move on. I'm inspired to look beyond the mystery and move into this unknown space, because I've spent enough time here, could be 8 months, 8 years, 8 months, 8 weeks, 8 years, that you've been aware of something, conscious of something. 8 weeks, 8 years, 8 months, 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years. Anyway, and as a clarifier, in the third week of June, with this energy of moving on, Pisces, we have life purpose. So you are pursuing your life purpose. You're understanding. You're coming to understand and really gain inspiration. One, from yourself, what it is that you've been through, how it is that you want to inspire yourself and other people, and you know that where you are is no longer it. Even if it was it, it's not that anymore for you. And maybe needing to reconcile or wanting to reconcile those feelings around that. Outcome, or last week of June, we have the Six of Cups, which is nice. And then we have the Five of Cups, which is interesting because obviously we're in the same suit here. The Six of Cups is a really nice card. Generally a card of the past, your childhood, good feelings, good memories, and perhaps could be people coming from the past, or a desire to return to a place of contentment, and satisfaction, where you feel like home and alive, fulfilled. it's like, and it's interesting because we have the 5, which is reversed, which would indicate a sadness, disappointment. It's really disappointment, perhaps related to something that happened last week. Well, I guess technically it could be last week, but last month in May. A realization, an awakening of like, this is it, this is done. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And there's no recovery here, you know? And what's nice, I guess, about this is that even though you're feeling this way or could be feeling this way, the 6 trumps this feeling. The 6 is saying that you can move forward. You can move beyond this feeling of sadness. You can move beyond this sense of dissatisfaction and disappointment. You can move beyond, you know, and even returning to yourself, you know, returning to a space and a sense of like balance and equilibrium and happiness even, you know, togetherness ultimately. And we have the Mother Earth card. So I will say, I wonder if you're needing to be held, desired, supported by the universe. There could also be, it's interesting when I look at this 6 of Cups card, there could be an element of working with the earth, working in your garden that brings a sense of healing, being in nature more for sure. Yeah, I pulled a clarifier, the crystal clarifier, and we have pink tourmaline, which is all about forgiveness, and which I think is actually self-forgiveness more than forgiveness of other people. Sometimes I feel like we need to forgive ourselves for staying in situations that almost like this feeling of like, oh, I knew better. I shouldn't have stayed so long. I shouldn't have given them so much, you know. I should have given myself more. And so then there can be this sense of like there can be this sense of blame, self-blame, disappointment, that feeling of disappointment. But I think it ultimately starts with like this return to love, you know, a return, but love for yourself ultimately. That's how the universe loves us, you know, and shows and demonstrates that love for us by us committing, you know, to ourselves. And it's hard to commit to yourself when you don't think that you're deserving of forgiveness or you haven't forgiven yourself. Because when you forgive yourself, you move differently. You move into a space of acceptance, self-acceptance. And that's how other people accept you too, right? So card for Pisces for June, card for Pisces for June, card for Pisces for June, card for Pisces for June. Wow. A time to give rather than take. It's interesting. I feel like it's actually giving for yourself, but. And it's the new moon in Virgo, which actually is interesting because Virgo is your opposite sign. And I wanted to look at the bottom of the deck. We believe in the impossible, blue moon, and surrender to the divine, full moon. And when I think about this card, it's time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo, which is your opposite sign. Virgo is all about service, you know, service offering, how they serve, how they love and support other people. And so I wonder if there is a level of you doing that for a significant other or a significant person in your experience. It doesn't even have to be a person, it could be an entity, you know, but it feels like there is a request of you. There could be a request of you that is asking you to surrender, that is asking you to believe in the impossible. Because it feels like when I get this card, I feel like you're going to be like, what? I give all the time, you know? And not saying that it's not true, Pisces, but I do feel like there is this need to surrender that is less about pushing any agenda or action. And maybe that's what you're giving. Like you're not actioning anything for you or anybody else. You're just surrendering. And maybe that in itself is a give, you know, something that's opposite of what you would normally do. So second last sign, and also the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. Aries. This up for Aries. Okay. Give me some information for Aries. Aries. 2021. Aries for June 2021. I'll take it. Aries for June of 2021. Aries. Aries. Oops. Whew. So first week, we have the 5 of Wands reversed, and we also have, as a clarifier, the 2 of Wands upright. Oops. I wonder if there is this, well, one, you're putting behind any, so, you know, my petty Betty bullshit card. You could have been interacting with some petty Betties last month because it's June. So I feel like as of March 30th, or March, I don't know why I said March. Was something happening in March? Anyway, as of May 31st, you were kind of like, I'm cutting this shit out, you know? I'm cutting out these like petty Betty bitches that are not providing any sense of value with their opinions and perspectives and insights, you know? Kind of like, I don't need that, I don't want that. Please keep that over there. It could be related to your ability to travel or your desire to travel in the first week. So this is the first week of June. So yeah, it feels like as of the beginning of June, you're cutting something off, you're cutting people off, or just communication in regards to how people are communicating with you or sharing their perspectives when you're like, I didn't ask for it, you know? And we have the 2 of Wands, so which oftentimes will relate to planning to move, planning to travel, planning to connect with people at a distance. So it could be even like maybe, we know what's coming up is dating online, but also maybe it's not even dating online, but it could be dating online actually. But it feels like there's like, you're disengaging from a certain entity or space. And then it's almost like, I need to get focused. I want to get focused. And I'm going to really look forward for my future, what it is that I want, how I'm planning, where my inspiration is. And as a clarifier, you have the Ancient Wisdom crystal, Ancient Wisdom card. So is definitely indicating that you are feeling you're tapping into your ancient wisdom, to your wisdom in general. You know, it's interesting because you have 2 master teacher cards in the first 2 weeks of June. So I definitely feel like there's some awareness that's coming in. It's helping you to focus and clarify what it is that where it is that you're going, what it is that you want, how you're going to be moving forward. In the second week of June, Aries, interesting that we have your sign. It's reversed. We have the Emperor. The Emperor would generally represent Aries, or the father figures, and we have Temperance. So it's possible that you could be you could be healing, because healing is represented by Temperance. Temperance is also the sign of Sagittarius. So if we're thinking about signs, we have the sign of Sagittarius and we have the sign of Aries. So there could be a level of healing that happens this month, or at least the second week of June, that has to do with your father, a father figure, or the sign of Sagittarius, and this healing that's happening here for you. Your father could be feeling out of sorts, or it could actually be conversations with a bank or a large entity, your organization, a boss, that is encouraging ultimately emotional healing for you. So you could be tasked with sharing your emotions and how you are healing, how you are, how you've been impacted, and how perhaps you want to lead, or how you want others to lead you, whether that's a father, a boss, or just an authority figure. But there is this real level of emotional healing that's coming up for you, Aries. And it's almost like your ability to transform or transcend what it is that you've been through in the past. You know, how it is that you've had to heal up until now, and how your healing is actually deepening. And it feels very significant the second week of June, because we have the 2 major arcana and even the master teacher card, which I would consider, you know, tarot-wise, a major arcana. I mean, it's oracle. So the third week of June, Aries, we have the Knight of Swords reversed. So no longer engaging in conversations, arguments, conflicts, really like this feeling of disengagement. The people that are almost like committed to misunderstanding you, committed to arguing, committed to proving their side, committed to their view, their perspective, you know. And as a clarifier, we have the Page of Pentacles. So it's really like looking at, it actually feels like once you cut this heavier mental energy out, this could also be you having inner conflict, going back and forth, ruminating, you know, having this, trying to resolve an inner conflict. It's almost like knowing that you have to take action on something, or wanting to take an action on something, or not really wanting to take action on something, but knowing that some action needs to come from you. And maybe you're either saying like, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to engage in this way, or I'm going to do it in my own way. And then with the Page of Pentacles, I do feel like you are trying to reclaim your joy, you know, your resourcefulness, what it is that you dream for, you know, the life that you dream for. And with the Tiger's Eye, having the courage to go for it, having the courage to say what it is that you want, you know. To be inspired. because sometimes we can feel like, oh, I don't want to, not saying I don't want to be inspired. I think everybody wants to be inspired, but then if you're inspired to action, you actually have to show up and do the things that you've committed to. I feel like there's a question of commitment in the third week. What is it that you are committing to? What is it that you want to commit to? Who's committing to you? And how much of your resources do you need to commit to something? Like maybe you're investing in something. Mm-hmm. The last week of June, we have the moon card, Aries, which would, one, moon is represented by Pisces. The moon is represented by Pisces, the sign of Pisces. So it's possible that there could be a Pisces in your energy. It could also mean, though, it's interesting because we have two almost like contradictory cards. We have the moon, which represents like a mystery or confusion, deception, self-deception, having to sense things rather than know things. And the Seven of Cups, and it's reversed. So this understanding or knowing of where it is that you want to go, where it is that you want to move to. It does feel like it's very instinctual and emotionally fulfilling. It's almost like, what do I, can I believe this person? Can I believe what I'm feeling? Yeah, you can. Confirmation, you have the Six of Wands. So I think at the end of June, you have this awareness around how you want to move forward. Most likely related to a passion project, something that you're working on. Could be job related for sure, but it feels like it's deeper than the job, you know, it's deeper than that. It's about validation, recognition, whether you're getting that where you are. And if you're not, like how you can figure out how you can navigate moving into something that better suits your desires. And then clarifier, it's interesting, the last week of June we have music. So I would encourage you to employ music, of course, throughout June, but particularly in the last week of June. There could be messages for you that come through music. You could be going to a concert or traveling for a music experience. Yeah, you could have a connection with someone through music. So you go to a concert with someone, or depending on where you are, of course, you know, where you are in the world and what that is like for you. But, you know, there could also just be inspiration and information coming through for you at the end of June related to music and related to messages, particularly, I think, because we have the moon sign here. So Aries, that's it. Oh, I'm going to pull Moonology. Getting to the end. Last, I guess I don't have to pull because it's just popping out. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so we have a super moon, which is interesting because we just had a super moon at the end of May. And we have third quarter moon, which would be oh, it's interesting because I think I had said the first quarter moon would be the third week of June, but that was not right. It would actually be like this past week. Anyway, Aries, emotions are running high and adjustments are required. So in June, be mindful that you may need to make some adjustments and also manage your emotions. I think other people need to manage their emotions too. So it's interesting because that's what I was getting, like disengage, you disengaging or needing to disengage. People's opinions, all of that kind of stuff. I don't think that's serving you, at least not right now. So thank you, Aries. So last sign, Taurus. Some of my favorite people are Taurus. Some of my favorite people. Okay. So for Taurus, for June 2021, give me some information for Taurus. Oops, for June 2021. Taurus for June. Taurus, thanks for your patience, Taurus. Taurus for June 2021. Shuffle these as well. Oops, oh shit. Oh. I guess we're gonna pull these backwards since the crystal card popped out. This one's popping out too. Taurus for June 2021. Taurus. What do you got for me? Taurus. For Taurus, June 2021. Okay. Hey, Taurus. So the first week of June, I have the Queen of Wands reversed. Actually, would makes me feel, and it's reversed, so it makes me feel like, oh, it's interesting because we also have the King of Pentacles. It makes me feel like you are feeling energetically out of sorts. You know, like your intuition is there, but it's either you're not listening or it's not strong. Maybe you're feeling tired, like your energy's tired, you know? Maybe it's not really having to do with like the output, but the people that are around you, you know? I feel like there's this awareness that's coming through around your ideal partnership, your ideal relationship. And if that person were to come in, would you be ready? Whatever ready means. The Queen of Wands reversed would generally indicate to me that you were, upright, would indicate that you're feeling inspired, and it feels like you're not feeling that way with it being reversed. You're feeling either tired and or inspired, or uninspired, sorry. And like your mental capacity is low, your joy is low. Feels like you're trying to get back to the space of reclaiming your joy, and reclaiming your ability to attract what it is that you want, to call in what it is that you want, including relationship, right? Confirmation is that you have the dioptase, which represents heart healing. And this to me would totally be what it is. Or could be an aspect of you being able to, one, feeling, like you're in the space of joy and inspiration and connection ultimately. But it feels like there's a level of disconnection that's happening, maybe on the heart level, that spirit is asking you to reclaim. I'm feeling inspired to just see what the card has to say, or the book has to say, sorry. You have called this card into your life today as a sign that you are currently going through a deep healing of the heart. We spend our lives in and out of relationships, trusting people, and along the way we get hurt in the process. The natural survival instinct is to shut down and protect the heart from yourself and from those around you so you don't get hurt again. This can cause a huge disconnection, just as I was saying, in your life as you walk around numb from the pain of these wounds and scars. The key is to hold yourself and love yourself through your hurts, keeping that beautiful, loving heart of yours open and alive and free to love, no matter how painful it can be. Love is the essence of all healing. No matter the situation, know that deep heart healing is at hand. The loving divas of this crystal have now arrived to shower their healing light into your life. Allow this energy to touch and heal your heart deeply. You are encouraged to take some sacred time out for yourself. That's what I was feeling. As your wounds are transformed back into love and compassion, spend time in nature or by the sea to nourish and support this healing process. It is perfectly normal that you may experience a loss or sadness flowing through you as you release and heal from this pain. Or perhaps you could be feeling joy and freedom as you allow a deeper level of divine love and forgiveness into your heart. It is now time for you to come back into your heart center as you experience the sacred time of heart healing and transformation. Totally what I was feeling. Yeah, absolutely. Because I will say, I do think that there's someone, maybe they haven't approached you yet, but I do think that there's someone in your environment that wants to love you and sees maybe that you're not ready, or you feel like you're not ready. It's funny because I was saying, like, what is ready, But it feels like there's going to be something, if you don't already recognize it, you will recognize it in the near future, of someone that wants to love and support you in a way that maybe feels scary, Second week, we have the King of Swords upright and the Five of Wands upright. I feel like this could be related to a boss, related to how you're managing other people's energies, conflict. It's interesting that we have this conflict card, the Five, I don't know why I keep saying Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and maybe the Five of Pentacles is coming into my consciousness because it's making you feel like devalued, this back and forth, this conflict, or you're like, I just don't want to engage in that. And as a clarifier, you have the Scolicite card, which represents peace. And so, it's interesting as I talk about like this conflict, but you are really calling in this energy. You're like, I want to disengage from this. I'm only here because this is my job, or this is like my family, or this is, people that I care about, but I am kind of keeping my mouth in control of my mind, or my mind in control of my mouth. There are things that need to be said, but I am going to be truthful and direct and almost like unemotional, very matter of fact, because I see how people may be getting, their emotions might be getting too engaged or high or involved. And it feels like you either are the peacemaker or you see a higher, like a meta view. And you're like, I'm not going to engage here. I'm going to try and bring peace into the situation. The third week of June, Taurus, we have your first major arcana of June, which is, so we actually have the Temperance, which is the card. We have Queen of Swords first, and then Temperance as the clarifier. So what's interesting is that you have the King of Swords in the second week, and then the third week you have the Queen of Swords. So there could be communication that's related to relationship healing. And then, woo, as I talk about that, clarifier, you have emotional healing card, the awakening crystal. So I feel like this person that comes in at the beginning of June could be asking for conversation, inviting you into conversation in the 3rd week of June that has to do with your emotional healing and you're balancing your equilibrium. You know, they could be suggesting, supporting something there. They're giving you insights as to how to move forward on your personal journey, on your life journey, on your career journey, you know. Last week of June, you have the 3 of Cups upright, which is nice. It feels like a celebration. You could be gathering with other friends, 2 other friends, or you could be attending a ceremony, a wedding, some kind of celebratory experience, you know. And then you have as a clarifier to the 3 of Cups, you have the 10 of Pentacles, which is beautiful. Even though it's reversed, it's still a fabulous card. The reversal could just indicate a delay, or it could be something that you are actively working towards. With the 3 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles, it's nice because it does feel like maybe you're celebrating something that's incoming for you, for a family member, for someone that's important in your life. And Alchemy, you have the Kunzite card, which is self-love. A commitment to self-love, I think, is what's coming at the end of June. A deeper commitment. Not that the commitment hasn't been there, but there are some actions, like actual actions that happen through this heart healing, emotional healing, this desire for peace that's been coming up for you. And now it's almost like this reinvestment into your self-love, you know, into what it is that you're building for yourself and the value. Ultimately, it feels like the value that you're reinvesting in yourself. And it's not even necessarily a financial thing. I mean, there could be a need to invest financially or, you know, commit financially to something, but it's like, for example, if you don't go to therapy, it could be therapy. It could be, which would have a financial aspect. It could be, you know, buying new workout clothes or something that helps you to feel better about yourself while you're working out. It doesn't have to have the financial aspect, but it does feel like there's some action-based change that you employ at the end of June that has to do with how you take care of yourself, you know. And I'll just keep shuffling until a Moonology card comes out. Oops. So take that one. And we have the new moon eclipse, which is in 2 days. Expect powerful change, which is nice. I do feel that for you. It feels very cathartic and emotionally healing for you, this new moon. Even when I think about the new moon in Gemini for you, Taurus, that would mean that there is some kind of financial change that comes through where you can step into a new role, a new industry, a new career, a new relationship, a new understanding of yourself and your value. Starting, so June 10th is the new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. And for you being your second sign, it really has to do with your sense of value, you know, and how, like, the money that you earn, yes, but how you feel about the money that you earn, how you feel about the work that you're doing, the work that you want to do, how it aligns. And these, it's interesting because I just pulled up these cards and they just kind of popped out, and 5 and 10 of swords. So it makes me feel like May could have been a challenging month for you, where you kind of won the battle. And then I will say, I think as of December, as of October, when October comes, you're going to be ready to move forward, move on from something that's no longer bringing you fulfillment, satisfaction, personal enjoyment, all of that. So I'm just going to pull from the Archangel Raphael deck for everyone. I like this deck because it gives you some action-based energy. Take care of yourself, your well-being. So for every sign, give me some action-based cards. Ooh. Too many. Give me a prayer. Prayer works. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, thank you for hearing and answering my prayer of the details of your prayer. I will say I've been getting a lot of confirmations, affirmation, validation around prayer, using prayer actively. I have the improving health card. Archangel Raphael, thank you for your comforting reassurance about the situation. So one thing I will say that comes up is your improving health could be based on your faith and how your health is improving, and actively exercising, moving your body. Archangel Raphael, thank you for motivating me and guiding me to an exercise program that fits my schedule, interests, and budget. So it could be something as simple as walking, but it does feel like, one, you're being encouraged to take gentle action in regards to your health, but also praying for the change, and thanking God, the universe, source, whatever entity you pray to or work with on the other side, that helps you to call in, your improving health. Like, thank you so much for supporting my improving health, my mental health, my emotional health, spiritual health, physical health, of course. And knowing that actually exercising every day, even if it's just, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, will help to improve your overall emotional, mental, physical, your whole being, So that's it. Thanks so much for checking in and listening to your reading. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or comment. Of course, probably the easiest way. And if it helps in any way, or I would invite you to share, and definitely like and subscribe. I will say, I'm trying to be more active, proactive in doing the readings on YouTube instead of just because I do personal readings. So if you'd like a personal reading, that's something that's available for you as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. Sending you a lot of love and blessings. Now throughout June, and I'll probably aim to do a general reading for the eclipse by Thursday, which is in 2 days anyway. So until then, sending you many blessings.